Welcome to the Government News Brief for Tuesday, January 19, 2016. In the news, the government is monitoring water levels as the dry season hits hard. The Prime Minister assures the diaspora in the U.S. that Guyana is now more investment-friendly, and Gaisuco and unions meet tomorrow on the closure of the Wales Sugar Estate. With these and other stories, I am Azim Khan. The government is monitoring the water levels in the conservancies and canals in the main agricultural regions. This is in light of the dry conditions being experienced. Shanta Gobadan reports.
The current water level in the East Demerara Water Conservancy stands at 52.65 Georgian datum GD, while the Borasiri Conservancy is 58.15 GD. The MMA Water Conservancy's level is 58.17 GD. In Region 2, thousands of acres of land are currently under cultivation and are being affected. A recent visit by an NDIA assessment team saw several immediate interventions being put in place. Farmers were advised against starting new cultivation due to the lack of water. The Dawa pump station is now operating 12 more hours daily, pumping water from a tributary of the Pomeroon River into the Tapakuma Water Conservancy. However, there are some challenges in controlling the pumping of the water into farmlands, as farmers are not adhering to the irrigation schedule. Rangers have been placed on the ground to ensure the effective implementation of the schedule. Meanwhile, in Region 3, where the situation is under control, there is a monitoring committee that has been set up to address and observe the situation. In Region 4, canals need rehabilitation and maintenance. There is insufficient water in some areas, and to address this, pumps will be deployed. NDIA will also install a drainage pump in the Crane Grove farming area to circulate water to farmers. Meanwhile, in Georgetown, all sluices are operable. However, at the Guyana Water Incorporated's Shelter Belt location, pumping has been reduced by more than 50%. For Region 5, one of the Mora Point irrigation pumps is currently down, and authorities are working to repair it. The drainage pump at Pine Ground is being used to provide irrigation, while another pump is operating at the main canal supplying the Blairmont area. At Crabwood Creek in Region 6, there is insufficient water as one of the two pumps is not operable. This will be fixed shortly. With this Government News Brief, I am Shanta Gobadan reporting.
The management of the Guyana Sugar Corporation is expected to meet the workers' unions tomorrow to discuss the closure of the Wales Estate. The corporation has announced that it will be closing the estate at the end of the second crop in 2016. Seneca Thorne reports.
Tomorrow's meeting of Gaisuco's Management and Workers' Union could see a number of areas being discussed. These could range from the retention of field workers to severance benefit for others in the factory and offices. Gaisuco's management had indicated that it just cannot afford to keep the estate. This year alone, Wales is projected to lose some $2 billion. At present, the entire estate is in a rundown condition. The factory is in poor condition and requires major overhaul. The infrastructure for drainage and irrigation is collapsing, cultivation is in poor shape, and so too are bridges. Closing the Wales Estate has been on the cards for some time now. In a release yesterday, the Ministry of Agriculture noted that the management of Gaisuco had been diverting funds from high-performing estates to prop up the poor ones. It further noted that continuing this practice would put the future of the entire sugar industry in jeopardy. In 2014, head of GAWU Komal Chan had called on the then government to provide a financial analysis of how monies, including some $31 billion from the EU, were utilized. To date, no proper explanation has been provided. Chan had requested a full and comprehensive breakdown of the fundings given to the sugar industry in recent years before considering an offer of appointment to the Gaisuco's board of directors. According to the union head, if the Guyana Sugar Corporation and the then President Donald Ramotar were serious about overhauling of the industry, the full financial disclosure had to become an integral part of any measures to rebrand and rehabilitate the struggling sector. The former president had disagreed with Chan's assessment of the industry and instead blamed climate change, the discontinuation of preferential trade agreements with the EU, and labor shortages for the problems confronting the Guyana's sugar sector. He did not offer any explanation on the expenditure of the EU funds.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu told Guyanese in the United States that Guyana is a safe place for investment. He said crime is being tackled aggressively and security measures are in place to safeguard investments. Here are the details.
The fact that we have now started for the very first time a Ministry of Business that has as its focus dealing with investment profiles and reaching out to the investors wherever we can find them. Secondly, our focus in regards to diplomatic initiative would be to make our diplomacy work for Guyana in trade and economic terms.
The potential investors were told that the Constitution of Guyana protects investments as the country continues to attract interest from all across the globe.
If you told an investor that you have a country in which there's an incentive regime that protects the investment and that you have constitutional guarantees to back that up, and that you have a strong reinvigorated public safety program. We have put in place recently the anti-money laundering and financing of terrorism law. It has been assented to by the President. It means that you are countering illegal trade, illicit money, and dirty business, so that you're making it not only safe, you're making Guyana clean for investment.
Guyana's legal framework supports and secures investments in the country by international investors, as the new administration recently passed a number of laws making Guyana more investment-friendly.
The government is looking at ways in which investors could find the local business environment more attractive. Shivani Rampasad reports.
This was recently announced by Head of State David Granger during an address to the Parliament.
Our Ministry of Business will improve the ease of doing business, will attract increased foreign and local investment, will support the development and export of value-added industries and products, support industrial development through the establishment of industrial estates, encourage small and micro enterprises and revitalize our village economies.
The ministry will continue to support the traditional sectors of the economy to create favorable conditions for investors. Economic diversification will be pursued, value-added industries expanded, and new developmental avenues introduced. Government will also work to reduce the country's vulnerability by expanding the economy into the services sector and building strong tourism and hospitality industries. Subject Minister Dominic Gaskin also pointed out that the year 2016 will see the Ministry of Business making greater strides towards national development. With this government news brief, Shivani Rampasad reporting.
Passengers and entrepreneurs plying the Bartica route will soon benefit from a rehabilitated stelling. Glendon Greenwich reports.
With Phase 1 of the project being completed, Phase 2 will soon commence. Phase 1 saw $30.6 million being spent to replace the fender or mooring system, cluster piles, and the dilapidated decking and rotten beams.
Phase 2 for Bartica stelling was proposed in the 2016 budget at a total estimated cost of $300 million. What we plan to do with the Phase 2 is to redesign the entire Bartica stelling. There we will have a two-flat building. The ground floor will house the staff, which is TNHD staff. We will have a canteen there. We will have the waiting area for passengers. And the upper flat will have offices that we can actually rent out. I think Marad may be occupying one there, maybe civil defense, and the other office space will be rented out to maybe business people in the area and so on.
Phase 2 of the project will also see the installation of floating ramps for speedboats and the use of concrete decking for the ground floor of the building. The transformation of the Bartica stelling is in keeping with Bartica receiving township status. Bartica has already been gazetted for township, and work is ongoing in other respects to transform the Region 7 community into a town.
That has brought us to the end of the government news brief for Tuesday, January 19, 2016. Check out our other programs on our website. You can also find us on Facebook and YouTube. Remember to send us your Guyana Nice photo. Here is ours.